Good morning. Ann Whittington here with Reinventing Rural for today's Women's Entrepreneur Chat, or as we like to call it, We Chat. I am coming to you from the road. I am on my way home from Tahoe, and Lassen County Chamber in Susanville, California graciously let me use this nice room to have our We Chat. And we're really excited. We are privileged today to have Cassie Richey from Sweet Things Boutique in Sweet Home, Oregon. And I've asked Cassie to share with us a few of the obstacles that she faced as she was starting up her rural business and how she overcame them. She's going to tell us a little more about her business too. She has a wide variety of products from apparel to home decor and lots of vendors that she's going to tell us about too. So Cassie, I'll let you take it over. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. So we started back in June of 2019, and our first obstacle was finding a storefront. We searched and searched and searched, and we finally settled on one that was much smaller than we had wanted. But we went ahead and got started, and it was a lot of fun initially, and then it just kind of died down. And so our biggest struggle, I would say, was getting people in the door. Lots of people would come in the door, or when they came in the door, they would say, "Oh my gosh, this place is so awesome. There's so many fun things. And you have so much." And then you would expect it to snowball and get more and more people, and more people would find out about you. But the problem, I think, with a small town is that it's easier when there's not a lot of the other options in town. It's easier for people to go to a bigger town and go to, the superstores that have everything to grab what they need. Not always thinking about how unique something is that they could buy here. Let's see, what other obstacles did we face? Initially, finding vendors for our store. So we are vendor based mostly. We do order some things in, but I think we're getting close to 40 semi-local and semi-local vendors right now that make products for our store. But when we started, I think we started out with just 5. So it was getting creative with how we staged the store to make it look full and exciting. Trying to think of other things. Being rural here where I am at in Sweet Home, the touristy seasons are very seasonal. We bring in quite a few people in the summertime to come to the lakes, and in July, August for the Oregon Jamboree, we get a good rush of people. But the rest of the year, it's just mostly people in our community. So finding ways to try and attract people from out of town who are traveling through to make sure that they see us when they pass through. So we've tried to get creative. Since we moved locations, I forgot to mention that. We found a bigger location. We're more downtown, more central, still on Main Street. But we've tried to get creative in our new location with things to grab people's attention as they drive by, to make sure that they know that we're here. We've put some brighter color signs out. We decorate up our windows. We put lights in our windows just to try to draw attention to us. But I think the biggest struggle that we really face is just getting people in the door, just for them to remember that we're here.
And you said you're using social media in the area too?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Trying to be, that's one thing that I've really tried to focus on, especially since COVID hit, was to really have a strong social media presence, posting regularly, posting exciting, fun things, showing off our products, just because a lot of people are not wanting to get out necessarily, or at least initially they were staying home a lot more, and we wanted to make sure they knew what we had in here, so they knew it was worth coming down. They knew that we had a lot of options and that we were very diverse.
Okay, so you said location, you found a new location, so that's awesome. You said working on finding customers in a rural area. So you're using social media, and I love that you said you're using signage. You told me earlier that you had put up a flag to catch people's
Mhm.
attention. You use lights in your window so that people that are passing through on the way to the mountains or the lake will see you and stop and maybe buy something cool to remember Sweet Home by.
Yeah.
Also, your vendors have really grown. So,
Yes.
do you want to talk for a minute about how you've adapted with COVID, kind of how that affected you and what you did?
Um, we just had to get creative. Initially with COVID, I didn't have a website initially. And so over like just a matter of about a week, I threw together a website. Um, we started doing Facebook Lives sales. Those are a lot of work, but they paid off. They kept us open. I mean, really, last year, the first couple of months, that's what kept us open, that and the website, and having products that people wanted. We did a flower delivery service where I got farm fresh flowers from the next town over and I delivered them. And a lot of people loved that because, the initial part of COVID, everybody needed more cheer. So we did that. We've just thought of different ways to bring people in. So I've collaborated with some other businesses. Colette's Bakery in Lebanon brings fresh French pastries to us every morning that we're open. So it's just a little satellite spot in our store, but people can come in and get delicious French pastries from us every morning. I also, let's see, we bring in flowers. So we have flowers now. We have flowers year round that are arranged. And then in the spring, so this week was our first week with our fresh farm flower bundles. So we do that. We recently became a UPS access point. So people can come drop off their UPS packages or pick up UPS packages here, which has brought in a lot of foot traffic. And then we also have a seamstress who has her customers drop off their products here and she picks them up here. So that brings in more people. So we're just trying to find different ways to get people in the door. And once we have them in the door, they're in love. It's just a matter of getting them in here to see what all we have to offer. We're not just clothes. We're not just home decor. We've got a really wide variety of things. It's an amazing little shop.
It sounds like it. And I was really impressed that you have a website. I have been shocked through COVID how many stores, even in bigger towns, do not have websites. And so that was great that you have a website, that you've diversified, you've brought in different options for your customers. Somebody was asking in the chat, just kind of give us an overview of your store. It sounds like you do a lot.
We do a lot. So we have gorgeous macrame, we have home decor, we have a whole wall of coffee mugs, both ones with hilarious sayings, and then we have some that are like the awesome hand warmer mugs that are really, really popular. And then we have a local artist. He's actually my pastor who makes coffee mugs, and they have organ on them. So those have been really popular. We carry flowers. We have a book section where we keep a lot of the new releases, new books. That's been really popular. We have refurbished furniture. We have coffee. We have a really great coffee brand that we have several flavors in. We have purses. We have lots of clothes. The clothing section keeps growing. And we carry from extra small to 3X. So we have a wide variety of sizes. We have we call it the spa section with soaps and lotions, perfumes. We have cosmetics. The bath bombs are really popular. We have jewelry, if I didn't already say that. Candles are really popular. The French pastries. We have tanning.
Oh my goodness. You have a
So,
lot.
so much. And in the holidays, the fall season and Christmas time, it's like magical in here. It's so fun.
Oh, fun. I can't wait to stop by one day and come actually in the store. In a
Yeah.
few minutes, we'll have you give us a quick little virtual tour of your store. But Laura, do you or Candace or anybody else on the call have questions for Cassie this morning?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Anne. Cassie, can you talk a little bit more about some of the local vendors that you work with?
Sure. So we, like you said, we started with just about 5 and we've grown immensely. We have vendors that make greeting cards. We have vendors who make coffee mugs, signs, all different kinds of signs, all different styles. I have like 4 or 5 vendors that do signs, and some of them do wood burnt signs. I have some that use machines, so they're like engraved wood signs. I know there's a better term for that, but that's not my hobby, so I don't know the term. We have painted signs. We have motivational signs, so many signs from the vendors. I just brought in a new vendor who makes gorgeous jewelry with organ agates. Like trying to look up there, like, what do I have? I have a vendor who, I mean, she's a stay-at-home mama with her kids and makes gorgeous macrame. And that's the other cool thing about our vendors is they're anywhere from stay-at-home mamas just trying to, you know, make some extra cash to stay home with their babies. We have a lot of retired folks who are retired and they just enjoy doing, you know, want something to do in their spare time. And then we have people who are working and they do this in the nooks and crannies of their time. And it's just something that they enjoy doing. But we have several that are right here in Sweet Home. We have some that are in Brownsville, Halsey, Scioto, Jefferson, Salem, Albany. We have several. Yeah.
Very cool. Yes. Do you have a question?
I have a question. So Cassie, it sounds like, you have done an incredible job on building your outreach and using, the tools you have. And I know how time consuming those can be. So, most small businesses, like, what do you need to grow your business? More time and then more money. But what are some of the things on the other things, other than maybe more time and more money, that are areas you would like to get some help or assistance with, or have, or figured out on your own that are very valuable for you? I mean, are you using Google My Business as a strong tool, or are you trying to figure out how to run events better? Or what are some of those things?
We would like to get back into events. We did used to do some events. We had a wedding show in here the first year that we were in this location. We did some crafting events, but then with COVID, it's been a little tricky to figure those out. But we're hopeful that this summer we can kind of start easing back into some of those. So we do that, which definitely brought in people who wouldn't normally think to come in, maybe, or just hadn't come in yet. It got them to come in. Those were a lot of fun doing events. We tried to, at Christmas time, we did all kinds of, I tried to get creative with, we did an event where we did the pickle in the tree. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but just tried to be creative with different ways, to get people excited to come in. We did gifts with purchase. That was a big way to get people in during the holidays. Trying to understand social media more, just to try to get a better reach there. And then another big thing for me too is just trying to get out in the community as a business, because a lot of people, I still am surprised. Almost every day I still have somebody come in who says, "Oh, I've never been in here before." And It's like, wow, I've been here for a while,
Where do you live? Oh, down the street. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. And most of them are locals. But a lot of it is they're seeing my business, because I've donated a prize to a school raffle or a school auction or something like that. And so I try to, as a business, get out in the community and support other businesses or other events. Last year we sponsored t-shirts for the holiday court, the Sportsman's Holiday Court, and just trying to get creative, different ways to get my name out there is the biggest thing, I think, for me.
And it's interesting. I know now you have, you've got Foster Lake, you've got the Jamboree, you've got some things that are going to bring a lot of people in that have never heard of you before, never seen. So now you almost have to pivot, off season. It's like, how do I build my local business? And then now I've got this on season tourism attraction. How do I connect with people that are coming through the town or maybe driving through on their way to Sisters or Ben? Can you get them to stop in there? And yeah, I just, I applaud you for all of the work you do. I also want to say thank you because I know you're very involved in your community and you give a lot of your time and effort there. And I just want to, that's what makes rural communities strong are people like you. So thank you. And I'll jump off here and let someone else ask a question.
All right.
Candace, did you have a question?
I do. So I actually came into your shop just recently for the first time because we moved to Sweet Home a couple months ago and it was amazing. And so so it sounds like you do have to focus a lot on so many things involved with your store and getting it out there, which is really amazing. But so I didn't hear this part, but how did you come to the idea of having a boutique, and what is the actual as the business owner, what are the configurations of having the vendors that you work with? So you own the space and then they, how does that work? Because I know that in Sweet Home right now, there's a lot of spaces open and available for small businesses to come in. I know that the community, I think, is working on a lot of projects and different things that they're trying to build up, the Main Street area. And my husband and I have been just throwing around lots of ideas and everything like that. And we're really interested in kind of what you do, where you use a lot of different vendors and people that are local. And so I guess I just want to know the ins and outs of that a little bit more.
Sure. So the way that I have it structured was, initially I didn't have a lot of money to invest in a new business, but I knew I wanted to. And so the nice thing about the vendors is it helps pay my overhead as I've built my, what I have to offer. And so my vendors right now, they pay a monthly vendor fee to have the space, and then they pay a commission when things sell, is all that we do.
Okay.
I had a lot of them tell me I'm cheap, but I've also had people tell me that it's too much. So it just really depends on them if they're doing it as a hobby or if they're doing it as an actual side business. Mm-hmm. Something that I've kind of learned. And we have a little bit of it all here. We have people who are very serious about their craft, and then we have people who just enjoy making pretty things and bringing it in. So, and I've learned to be very flexible with them, depending on what they have and, its price point and how much of it they have, how much space it's going to take up in here. But yeah, it's been a big learning curve, and I'm still learning. But to talk about how I got to opening a boutique, so my dream has always been to own a holiday farm. I want the Christmas trees, I want the pumpkin patch, I want the corn maze, I want the whole thing. And I always thought I wanted to have a really cool gift shop on the holiday farm where we would have wreaths and coffee mugs and candies and all, just magical, right? Okay, so because I'm a huge nerd when it comes to fall and Christmas. That's my happy place. So the holiday farm has always been my dream. Well, I can't afford to just go out and buy hundreds of acres to have this holiday farm. So I thought, okay, where can I start? How do I start to get there? And so the very first thing I did was a Christmas, I called it a Christmas boutique, but it was basically a fancy Christmas bazaar. And I found a location to have it. We did it back. It was the same year that the Capitol Christmas tree came from Sweet Home. And looking back now, I feel like I was crazy because my husband was taking the Capitol Christmas tree to Washington, D.C., and here I am trying to plan this Christmas boutique. But it turned out amazing. It was magical. We brought in the high school cheerleaders to provide food and snacks. And so we were able to help them raise some money for their stuff. And we had several vendors cram packed into the barn at my church, and it was magical, and it went over really well, we thought. So we did it again in the spring while at that point, we were looking for a location to open. And so shortly after our spring event, we found our first location. And so we just kind of baby stepped it. And so I still someday would love to have that holiday farm. But now I love my boutique so much downtown on Main Street. I can't imagine ever giving it up. I would have to figure out how to do both.
Thank you, Cassie. And Candace, just to let you know too, there's so many resources for people that are just kicking around the idea about starting a business. You can go to the Small Business Development Center. You have George, an advisor right there in Sweet Home at the Sweet Home Center. Also Reinventing Rural, we're happy to work with you on whatever your needs are. There's RAIN, there's just tons of resources for people that are researching the idea of starting a business. So be sure and reach out to them. They're all free. So I would like a quick tour of your beautiful space before we go. So if you would show us around.
Okay. Figure out how to turn the camera around. There we go. All right. So we have a little seating area with fireplace in the wintertime turned on, but just a little place where people can come have a little meeting. They can sit and have their French pastries. So these are the pastries, and this is our little area. We do coffee, make hot chocolate. So greeting cards. So what I'll do is I'll just go up one side and then we'll just go back up the other. So these are some of our dressers. And the way that I do it is instead of having a section for each, vendor to have their own little spot, I curate the store. So I just it's all mixed together. I have a tagging system. So I barcode everything, which makes checkout a lot simpler. We have these amazing aprons, and she has coordinating dish towels. We normally have flowers in the cooler, but we ran out, and she's restocking me on Tuesday. So you can kind of see the clothing section goes up one side of the store. This is kind of our little book section. So I'm also a huge Harry Potter fan, so we have lots of Harry Potter goodies. Some of the macrame. I had to get creative in here because it was just a very square box. So I had my husband build me this little, I call it the gazebo. I know it's not really a gazebo, but so up here we have some more home decor candle section. We're waiting for some more new candles to come in there. I love these magnets. By one of our very talented local ladies. We try to do some themes. So one of our themes right now is like mermaids and beach. It's our great honey vendor that brings in lots of fun things that go with that. You can kind of see the back of our window display there. We have this cool little spot set up in one of the windows where people can come sit and enjoy their pastries or a cup of coffee. We're building up our Americana section for 4th of July. And then we have our cute little flower cart full of goodies. And I just try to get creative with displays to save money. Found an old trunk at a garage sale and found a couple of these wire spools. Built some of our furniture. Has been built quite a few of it. And then we just utilize the dressers that we get in to build our displays on. My grandma's old piano found its new home down here. We just have lots of fun things. And a lot of the stuff that we order into, we try to keep to companies or also, small businesses. They might not be, right here in Sweet Home, but they are still, women women-owned small businesses or things like that, just to try and support them. This is kind of the little spa section with all those are the Oregon Rain goodies. This is a local vendor we have here. We have a couple of Oregon spa type goodies. And then our little cosmetic section. And purses that are made by my neighbor. And then this is our awesome coffee section / Gilmore Girls section, because our coffee is made by Luke from Gilmore Girls. And then this is my little register setup. And then my back room with all of our extra junk.
Oh my goodness, it's so much bigger than I anticipated. And I love the variety and how unique everything is.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It looks like
a lot.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Cassie. I really appreciate it. And I loved getting to see your store. I am going to come see it in person. But I really appreciate you taking your time out of your busy day. I know you have a lot to do when you own a business. And so this was great. Thank you for sharing with us and showing us around your store, and have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks. Thanks everyone for joining. We'll see you next time in a couple weeks.